The Angels gave us their trademark loss here in Toronto on Thursday night. Fall behind early, do absolutely nothing for 8 innings, and then in the ninth, give you a little bit of life just to fall just short. We'll talk about the failed comeback in this loss to the Blue Jays on tonight's edition of the Locked On Angels Postcast right now.
You are Locked On Angels Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello, Halo hopefuls. Hello, Halo Nation. Hello, Postcast people, and welcome to the latest edition of the Locked On Angels Postcast, coming at you live, as always, after every single Angels game here on the Locked On Sports Los Angeles YouTube channel, and after the fact, wherever you get the Locked On Angels podcast feed. As always, I'm your host, Gavin Carlson. I spent the last 4 years as a credentialed journalist in the LA area, and I am now, of course, a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. Your team, maybe unfortunately, is the Angels, at least in 2024, unfortunately. And we got a trademark classic Halos 2024 loss. Like I said in the intro, fall behind early, do literally nothing until the ninth inning, score a couple runs in the ninth to make it look like a miracle comeback might be on the way, but then, of course, fall just short. A 5-run second inning, the only inning that the Blue Jays score, but the Angels can't overcome 5 runs. They can't ever really score 5 runs in a game, let alone trying to do it all in the ninth inning. We got 3 in the ninth thanks to the first career hit, the first career home run, a 3-run shot from Niko Kavadas. Glad to know he actually holds a bat when he swings something, because through his first many at-bats of his career, literally nothing to show for it. But unfortunately, after the 3-run shot from Kavadas, the offense is able to do nothing else and fall just short in this one. Shout out, as always, to everybody in here. Appreciate the support. Despite this team giving us little to be excited about, at least we can be excited about the postcast every single day or game day. And a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's postcast. It is Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. On tonight's show, we will talk about a lifeless offense other than that ninth inning. We'll talk about Griffin Canning with maybe his best outing of the season, and it's out of the bullpen. 6 innings of shutout baseball, shutout pitching after brutal second inning from Burke and Bauman. We'll talk about that, but we will start this one talking about the Angels rally falling just short, because they had us for a second. They had us for a second. I don't know about you. I'm sure you probably are in the same boat as me. You're watching this game. You're following this game. I know a lot of people in the chat don't even watch the games at this point. But if you're following the score, you see the Angels fall behind 5-0 in the second. We'll get to that. You see them do absolutely nothing, not even have an extra base hit throughout the first 8 innings of this game, I believe. I know they didn't have an extra base hit through, I think, 7. Let's check real quick. None in the first, none in the second, none in the third, 1, 2, 3, third, a 1, 2, 3, fourth, other than a hit by pitch, a 5th inning that has 2 singles but nothing else, 1, 2, 3, 6th, a 7th inning that has a single, and then an 8th inning that's 1, 2, 3. So yes, no extra base hits going into the 9th inning. We get an Anthony Rendon single to lead off the 9th. Then we get a Kevin Pillar double play, and you're thinking, okay, this one's over. 2 outs, top of the 9th, you're down 5-0. But how about a Joe Adell double, a Matt Thaiss walk, and then Niko Kavadas, who came into this at-bat still without a hit in his Angels career, 8 strikeouts in his first 12 at-bats as a major league hitter. And he comes up with on a 1-2 pitch against Nance, gets a slider away, and he hit it pretty well. I mean, obviously to hit it out, you got to hit it pretty well, but let's be honest, 360 feet does not get out in a lot of parks. Fortunately for Kavadas, he hit the opposite field down the left field line, and it was deep enough to get out in Toronto, just 360 feet, but hey, we'll take it. What a way to break your slump. What a way to get your first hit of your major league career, because other than that, he wasn't just bad. He was downright terrible. Literally coming into that at bat, he was 0 for 14. 0 for 14 coming into that at bat. And it's worse than that because this guy was striking out every time. 8 strikeouts through his first 12 at-bats and then another 2 outs to make it 0 for 14. But he gets the home run here. You cut the lead to 5-3, and you're thinking, wait a second, we've seen miracle comebacks before, but I'll tell you what we've seen even more this year, miracle comebacks falling just short, and that's what we had tonight as Michael Stefanik immediately 3 pitches later grounds out to end this one, and the Angels still lose 5-3, not 5-0, and they avoid their 9th shutout of the year, but it's still another loss. It's still now 20 games under 500, and let's be honest, we are not in the clear of avoiding 100 losses. Anthony Jimenez, I don't know if you're trolling, I don't know if you're being serious, but he says, has the Kavadas era begun? I mean, he has a hit, so we'll give him that. Still doesn't make sense why he was hitting cleanup the first 4 games of his career. Now he's finally hitting in his rightful place at 8th, and he comes through eventually. But let's not hide the fact that other than that swing, it was still another brutal game for him. The average is now .067. The OPS is .443. Still a long way to go, but hey, we'll take it. Good to see him do something. Other than that, the offense was absolutely brutal. Like I said, the only extra base hits coming in the 9th inning, a Joe Adell double and the Niko Kavadas 3-run home run. Other than that, those 2 hits, those extra base hits, the Angels had 7 singles, and coming into the 9th inning, they had 6 singles. Not many base runners. Other than that, just 2 walks as well. So really just not much life. They end 1 for 3 with runners in scoring position. That's pretty good for them, but of course, 1 hit is still not great. Luckily for us, it was a 3-run shot, but obviously none of it really matters at the end of the day. So you tell me what you think. I think that these type of losses are more annoying to some degree. It's still better than getting shut out, of course. And it is nice that it's Niko Kavadas doing it and not some useless Brandon Drury 3-run home run or something. Hopefully this sparks something for Niko Kavadas. But at the end of the day, the more concerning thing is that the lineup does absolutely nothing for the first 8 innings. One of those games, this team is way too young, has way too much to prove to look absolutely nonchalant without a care in the world whenever they fall behind. We get it, you're 20 games under 500. But time out. Half the guys in this lineup are playing to stay in the majors, right? Come on. Matt Dice is trying to prove something every time he comes up to bat. Michael Stefanik is trying to prove he's a big league hitter. Mickey Moniak is trying to prove that he's not Mickey Moniak from the beginning of the year and someone that's maybe worth the roster spot still. We know how much Joe Adell has to prove. He did it tonight, 3 for 4. But there's way too many guys in this lineup that have stuff to prove or are veterans that have been underwhelming and have something to prove in their own right. Way too many guys with that sort of situation for there to be absolutely no life when this team falls behind 5-0. I get it. It's not fun being down 5-0 after 2 innings. Okay? But act like you care. Show some life. Show some life. You know I've had rants about creating chaos on the bases and stuff like that. We had the suicide squeeze finally work with Jack Lopez 2 nights ago. But other than that, it's been really boring, really bad baseball offensively. Somehow you finish this game with more hits than the Blue Jays, more base runners than the Blue Jays, but they hit multiple extra base hits. They're better than you with runners in scoring position, 2 for 6. But the main thing is you get 3 doubles, you get a triple, and you get a home run. Right? So that's kind of been the Angels' way of scoring, is relying on the extra base hit. They waited way too long to do it today, and you did absolutely nothing other than the 9th inning. So it's just too big of a hole for any team to climb out of, let alone a team like the Angels. At the end of the day, we'll take the Kavadas home run. Hopefully he can turn it into something. But other than that and Griffin Canning, the only bright spots, and Joe Adell as well in this one. We'll get to that on Gavin's good, bad, and ugly after this first break. Shout out to everybody in here. We'll be right back on the Locked On Angels Postcast. Now, today's show is brought to you by TonaI. I think this is only the second or third time I've been able to tell you about TonaI, so let's jump right into it. For those of us who thrive on getting stuff done, including workouts, every minute counts. Talk about it. I'm not even kidding. I just got back from the gym watching part of the Angels game at the gym, so I know what you mean. But yes, every minute counts, and that's why you need TonaI, the smart strength training system that takes the guesswork out of working out so you can make sure you're making the most of every rep. When life gets busy, fitting in a workout can be stressful, but with Tonal, you can get efficient workouts personalized just for you, and they are available with the amount of time you have. Even the most dedicated gym goers, like me, struggle with consistency. The commute, waiting for weights, other people's sweat, it makes skipping a workout very tempting. But with Tonal, you can choose from thousands of workouts and train in a way you actually enjoy at home. Tonal is the world's smartest and most effective strength training system that helps you get stronger. Powered by AI, Tonal learns with every rep so it can deliver workouts personalized just for you. It learns from your movement and provides suggested weight recommendations for every move with detailed progress reports. They even create personalized programs and workout suggestions or recommendations based on your individual goals. It's like having a personal trainer at home. So right now, Tonal is offering our listeners $200 off your Tonal purchase with promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Tonal.com and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $200 off your purchase. That's Tonal.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $200 off. Back here live on Locked On Sports Los Angeles YouTube channel. This is the Locked On Angels Postcast. Angels fall 5-3 to the Toronto Blue Jays. Just 2 half innings with runs in this one. Angels give up 5 in the bottom of the second. They have a small comeback, fall short with 3 in the top of the ninth thanks to the first career hit and first career home run from Niko Kavadas, a 3-run shot, but unfortunately it came with 2 outs. The very next hitter, Michael Stefanik, grounds out, and the rally does fall short. At the end of the day, this team only had 2 extra base hits, 2 walks, a bunch of base hits that amounted to nothing. We know how bad this team is at hitting with runners in scoring position, at hitting with runners on base, at hitting in certain situations. Situational hitting is terrible with this team, and they showed it again tonight. Not many chances, but they don't take advantage of any of them until the 9th inning. We're going to jump now into Gavin's good, bad, and ugly. And believe it or not, even in a game where you do nothing until the 9th inning, there's a few goods. Of course, the obvious one, Niko Kavadas, does have his first career hit. We talked about that plenty. But Jo Adell, 3 for 4, the double in the top of the 9th that started that rally. It was double, then a Matt Thaiss walk, and then the Niko Kavadas home run. So, boy, you got to give him his credit. 3 for 4. He has a double. He strikes out once, but 3 for 4 with the guy who's hitting .213. That's amazing. Another good, Nolan Schanuel. He did strike out twice, but 2 for 4 for him. Keep that average above 250. I guess the 3 spot is his spot. You heard me rant about it in the past. Don't know why the same lineup has Taylor Ward leading off, Nolan Schanuel hitting 3rd, Niko Kavadas hitting 4th. At the end of the day, I get it. Taylor Ward's been better leading off than not. Nolan Schanuel's been better hitting 3rd than not. I guess that's the route to go. I would love to see Schanuel hit 2nd. I think that works a little bit better for him, but Zach Neto likes to hit 2nd. At this point, Ron Washington is just like, hey, whatever these guys tell me they like to do, if they can back it up, I'll give it to them, because other than that, they're doing nothing. So I get it. He's going to do what his players ask if they can back it up. And obviously, Neto has backed it up in the 2-hole. Schanuel so far has backed it up in the 3-hole. And Taylor Ward has not been phenomenal leading off, but he's been better than he's been otherwise. So I guess those are the spots for those 3 guys right now. At the end of the day, 10 strikeouts. Once again, this team double-digit strikeouts all the time. Way too often for a team. How can the same team that has no extra base hits through 8 innings also have 10 strikeouts? Are you swinging for the fences, or are you trying to make contact? Or you're just doing neither, and you're just missing everything. I guess that's the problem with this team right now. But the goods, like I said, Jo Adell, Nolan Schanuel, and Niko Kavadas just because of one swing. Matt Thaiss, you got to give him his credit. He always finds a way to get on base multiple times whenever he plays. A hit, 1 for 3. He scores a run because he also has that walk in the 9th inning. Got to give him his credit. But other than that, not much offensively. 9 hits, but only 3 runs to show for it. Couple goods, though, in the lineup. The main good, though, the great, if that was a thing, was Griffin Canning. Because Burke and Baumann were not great. If you didn't watch this one, Burke got the start. 1-0 in his career, or on the year for the Angels. But he comes in today, gives up 3 hits, 3 runs, all earned. In the first inning, he gets through it. But the second was a disaster for him and Baumann, who came in for him. Burke is pitching in the bottom of the second. He gives up a leadoff double to Spencer Horwitz. Then another double to Alejandro Kirk to make it 1-0. Then a single to Will Wagner, who killed the Angels last time they played him, and he's killing us again today. That makes it 2-0, and Ron Washington saw all he needed to see from Burke, pulls him, brings in Mike Baumann. Only problem is Mike Baumann stinks as well, and it takes him just one at-bat to give up a 3 2-run home run on, let's just be honest, one of the craziest home runs I've ever seen in my life. This fastball is at the eyeball of Ernie Clement. It's hardly in the picture on MLB.com strike zone. This is I don't know how in the world he hit this, let alone hit it 98.3 exit velo, let alone hit it 380 feet. This is easily one of the most ridiculous home runs of the year in the entire league. I don't know how in the heck Clement did it, but that's just kind of the year it's been, the outing it's been for Mike Baumann since he joined the Angels. I guess that's how he's been all year, let's be honest. And I would feel bad for him if that was the only hit, the only issue he had was a not bad pitch being somehow hit for a home run. But then what else does he do? He then gives up a triple the very next at bat to Joey Loperfido, I believe, hangs a slider. Loperfido rips it to center. He hit it well, 310 feet, gets a triple on it. It's 4-0, and eventually 2 groundouts score him. George Springer gets an RBI on a groundout to make it 5-0. So Burke was not good. Baumann gives up a really unlucky, brutal home run, but he's not great either. They're both in the bad category. I won't put either of them in ugly, but they're both bad. But Griffin Canning, he was great. Not just good. He was great. He pitches 6 innings 3 through 8 tonight, and gives up just 2 hits, no walks. Where in the world did this come from? This guy can't get through 3 innings. He can't pitch a scoreless first inning. Maybe the secret to Griffin Canning's success is just never have him pitch a first inning again. We know how bad he has been in the first inning. The ERA is like over 8, over 9, something like that in the first inning. Maybe the secret is, hey, Griffin Canning, just come out in the second inning. Or in this case, come out in the third inning. You avoid the first inning foolishness that you seem to struggle with. And he was darn right perfect. 2 hits in 6 innings. 6 strikeouts, a strikeout an inning. He was like really, really good. I don't know where that came from. Maybe that's the secret. The ERA drops a ton on one start because, boy, it was bad. It's still 5.18. Look at the ERAs, by the way, of the 3 pitchers that pitched tonight. Burke's ERA is now 8.35. Baumann's is now 5.24. And Canning's is the best of the 3 at 5.18. Wow. But that certainly is certainly one of the rare positives in this game and all season for Griffin Canning is this outing. He was not just pretty good, he was darn good. And the Blue Jays kind of felt like, hey, we're up 5-0. We know the Angels aren't going to put up a fight. I guess we don't have to either. We'll take it. The question is, where do the Angels go from here? Canning, I don't know if he should just still be in this role. He obviously found success with it, but at the same time, the rotation is really bad. And so I don't know if you can just take this this outing and turn it into him having good starts the rest of the year, or if you say we'd rather have relievers pitch first and second innings and then have Griffin Canning do what he did tonight. I don't know. It's an interesting decision. We'll see at the end of the day. The same way, hopefully, the Niko Kavadas home run turns around what's been a bad start to his career. Maybe this Griffin Canning performance can turn around what's been an awful season for him. Who knows? We're searching for some light at the end of the tunnel in what has been a brutal, brutal season and a brutal, brutal stretch. After this last break here, we'll get to your comments, and I'll also give you my 2 cents on this road to avoiding 100 losses. I think it's more of a possibility than it might appear. We're still, on pace certainly to avoid it. 20 games under 500. We know how far under 500 you have to be in order to have 100 losses. But it's getting a little dicey. We'll talk about that and your comments after our last break here on the Locked On Angels Postcast. Today's show is brought to you by SupplyHouse. I'm looking for the graphic. There it is. It's brought to you by SupplyHouse. Get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades, SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 500 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business, and here's the key. Talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at SupplyHouse.com/TM and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at SupplyHouse.com. And finally, today's show is brought to you by Game Time. Now, here's something cool. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier than it already used to be with Game Time, where it's already the easiest place to get tickets. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Oh yeah, and Game Time has great deals such as 50% off Labor Day, a 50% off Labor Day offer for the Diamondbacks Dodgers game. That's just an example of the type of stuff they offer. There's so many great deals with Game Time and this really special Game Time Picks. If you don't know what Game Time is, it's an authorized ticket marketplace in Major League Baseball. It makes it easy to save on sports, concerts, comedy, and theater. They have so many great features, from all-in pricing, where it shows you the actual price when you go to check out. Not all these fees after the fact. It shows you the actual price. The app has views from your seat, the lowest price guarantee, where Game Time will credit you 100%. 110% of the difference if you don't get the lowest price. There's Game Time ticket coverage. There's so much. So take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets, MLB tickets, anything with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Back here live one more time on the Locked On Sports Los Angeles YouTube channel. This is the Locked On Angels Postcast. I am Gavin Carlson. The Angels fall 5-3, and it's brutal. We got a 3-run home run from Niko Kavadas, his first career MLB hit, but that's the only bright spot. That, a 3-hit game from Jo Adell, and also a stellar outing out of the bullpen for Griffin Canning, but a really bad bottom of the second inning makes all of that mean basically nothing because the Angels still lose this one. We'll get to your comments. I'm seeing mixed opinions about this game because in one sense, everyone's really frustrated. Another loss. We'll get to what it means for this road to avoiding 100 losses. But at the same time, a couple bright spots. Niko Kavadas maybe showing you some power that maybe might be on the Angels roster for the future. Maybe Griffin Canning still might have something left in the tank, something left in his career. Jo Adell, a bright spot. We'll talk about it. We start with Skyler. He says, another example of too little too late. Exactly. Good for the kid for his first home run, but honestly, that second inning, we switched off since then. I'm at the point of waving the white flag for the season. He says, Gavin, I appreciate you. Of course, thank you for doing these post-game pods for us, and you made me a more passionate Angels fan. Well, I appreciate that. He says, but this team is too inconsistent, and the Super Halo Bros are right. They can't tank right. Yeah, at the end of the day, this lineup's got Taylor Ward and Anthony Rendon and Brandon Drury in it. Kevin Pillar and stuff. That's not tanking. I'll continue to watch games, maybe enter the chat here and there, but I'm ready for 2025 at this point. I don't blame you. Joe Santa Cruz says, shaking my head. Anthony Jimenez says, Skyler, I'm right there with you. I'm a lifelong Angels fan. Can't wait to see some winning baseball. Not sure how long we have to wait. We shall see. We're not getting it anytime soon. I guess the other, look at that. Read my mind, Skyler. I was going to talk about the GM news. He says, we might have to wait a long time. They just extended the GM. I'll have to hear Locked On Angels tomorrow, but we might be in for a stressful few years. Yeah, I'll just give you my opinion on that real quick. Perry Minasian, what are the positives? The positives is that you have a couple young guys on your roster, Logan O'Hoppe, Zach Neto, Nolan Schanuel, that there's certainly a bright future ahead for them. I think there's a bright future ahead for Jose Soriano. I think there's still maybe a bright future ahead for Michael Stefanik. But at the end of the day, whether it's his fault, whether Artie Moreno doesn't let him do things, the trade deadline was an utter failure. It really was. This team kept Taylor Ward. This team kept Kevin Pillar. This team kept Brandon Drury. This team kept Tyler Anderson. They left a whole lot of possible trades with a lot of prospects coming in. They left them on the table. The trades that they made were great, and so that's why he gets some credit. And who knows? As much as he lies to the media, or maybe not lies, but tells things to the media, we'll never know. Maybe Artie Moreno, I can't even say his name. I'm not even going to try to correct it because he doesn't deserve for me to pronounce his name correctly. But Maybe he said, we're not giving up Tyler Anderson. Maybe he said, we're not giving up Taylor Ward. I hope that's what he said, and that it wasn't Perry Minasian who decided to keep those guys, because that is almost a fireable offense in its own right. How many good potential trades were left out there and not taken care of by Perry Minasian this trade deadline. That being said, this extension, it's surprising, not because of the failures of this team recently. It's surprising because he seemed so checked out during that trade deadline press conference to the point where he seemed like he knew he was on his way out. And it's interesting that they kept him. What this tells me is that it's even more likely that Artie Moreno said, don't trade those guys at the deadline. And Artie Moreno likes that Perry Minasian listened to him. He knows he's someone that he can control, that he can use his input, his influence on to affect the decision-making of his general manager. And that's why he's giving him the extension, because Perry Minasian is a puppet to Artie Moreno. At the end of the day, let's say it how it is. There's no way that two things can be true. There's no way that Perry Minasian gets this extension without doing what Artie Moreno wants him to do, and there's no way that that Perry Minasian does not make those trades if Artie Moreno tells him he can do whatever he wants, right? So what this all tells me is it's even more and more likely that ownership said, keep guys at the deadline, don't sell too much. And because he didn't, he gets rewarded, which I think is ridiculous. I don't think Perry Minasian is terrible. I think his talent identification is okay. Look at some of the young guys on this team. But at the end of the day, and I mean, Christian Moore, we see what he's doing already. That looks like a good draft pick. We'll see how those young guys that we just got in the Carlos Estevez trade, in the Luis Garcia trade, we'll see how those guys do. I mean, look at Niko Kavadas, right? Maybe there's something there. We'll see. I don't think Perry Minasian is terrible. But if he got an extension because he's a puppet to Artie Moreno, then that's not good news. All right, that's not good news. But very interesting. Yeah, I'm curious to see what the Halo Bros say tomorrow as well. I know everyone has a different opinion on the matter, but I think this is just more and more proof that he's doing what ownership wants him to do, and that's why he keeps his job. He kept his boss happy, not the fan base happy, and that's a problem in all of our eyes. Fud Alex, what up? With Anthony Jimenez says, with this team, we have to take any highlight we can get. Joe saying the fact of the year, we suck at situational hitting. Jeff checking in as always, saying that he appreciates me and that he's happy we didn't get shut out. Yeah, that's about it. Just more people saying what up. Anthony Jimenez asks, should Griffin Canning be a long relief guy? Same thing. Joe Santa Cruz saying he petitions for him to be one. We'll see. I think that at the end of the day, this rotation is so bad that Ron Washington might be forced to say, Griffin Canning showed me something, therefore I got to start him again. That's what I'd predict. Anaheim Angel says, I think not losing 100 is going down to the last weekend of the season. Yeah, let's talk about it. That's what I was going to get to. Man, Joe Santa Cruz says there's no light at the end of the tunnel. We just got to look forward to next year and hope we get good pitchers. Yeah, especially with these rumors of the new rule change for pitchers. I know that's not anywhere near happening in the near future, but if that ends up passing, you better get a good rotation. Let's talk about this 100 loss thing before we wrap this one up. The Angels are now 54 and 74, 20 games under 500. Once again, they're still just 9 wins away from avoiding 100 losses. They're 26 losses away from 100. What does that mean? It means there's 34 games left in this season. If I can do math, once again, it's always a challenge. 128, yes, there's 34 games left. You got to win 9 of 34. You have to win a little over a fourth of your games, which for any competent baseball team should be doable. But this series is a great example of the challenge of doing that. We played the Blue Jays twice. Theoretically, you just got to win one of these 4 games in order to stay on pace to avoid 100 losses. It's really that easy. But the Blue Jays are a 5th place team in their division, albeit their division is a good division. But this is a 5th place team in their division. And this game was not even close until the 9th inning. I could easily see, even if the Angels win one of these 4 games, you're telling me they're going to win 1 of 4 or 1 of 3 against some of the other teams on the remainder of their schedule? I don't know. We're going to learn a lot about this team and their road to avoiding that pretty soon, because you get 3 more against the Blue Jays, you get a 3-game set against the Tigers where you better win at least 1. Then you've got the Mariners, who just made a manager change because they're all over the place. But then look what happens. You've got 2 against the Dodgers, you're likely losing both. You've got 4 against the Rangers, you're probably losing at least 3. 3 against the Twins, you're probably losing at least 2. Astros for 3. The White Sox, you got to win that series, okay? You got to win that series because it's White Sox, then it's Astros who are in the middle of a playoff race, White Sox again, and then Rangers. So you got a lot of teams that are in the playoff race in the final month of the year other than the White Sox. And so you better win. Of those 6, you get 6 games against the White Sox in the month of September. You got to win at least 4 of them. Or else we might be talking about 100 losses, guys. And boy, would that be about as embarrassing as it gets. Let's pray that that does not happen. Unfortunately, if we're seeing Burks and Bauman's pitching and, Rendon's in the lineup, it's a possibility. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, a disappointing loss. Some positives. Griffin Canning, Niko Kavadas, Joe Adell, Nolan Schanuel, but a whole lot of negatives as well. The Angels lose 5-3. We'll be back here tomorrow, as always. Game 2 of this 4-game series against the Toronto Blue Jays. Same time, 4:07 first pitch, which means the show will be around 6:30, around 6:45, and hopefully it's after a win. Hopefully we get that one win of this 4-game set right away tomorrow, and then we could talk about maybe stealing a series win. But with all that being said, shout out to everybody in here. You know how much I appreciate the support, the comments, all of that. Thank you so much for being the only reason I do this show every single night. I'll be back here tomorrow. Angels lose 5-3. I'm Gavin Carlson. And as always, even after a loss like tonight, go Angels. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your Thursday, and I'll see you tomorrow.